Hello everybody, assalamu alaikum, welcome back to part 2 of my fitness and weight loss journey. I just want to say thank you so much for your likes and your comments on my last video. It was really encouraging. I was in two minds about whether to upload that because I felt like I was talking very fast. Obviously I was in a rush because we were going as a family out and I was kind of holding everyone up, so I was kind of rushing my words, but the feedback's been amazing. A few of you have messaged me on Snapchat and on Instagram. Obviously the people who commented as well. It was just really lovely to see your feedback and read it, and it's great that so many of us have started a fitness journey now, and it's also like really reassuring that lots of you can relate, because it's nice to know you're not the only one who's, you know, was at a place and then obviously like life happens, you know, you do tend to change and move, and you know, your weight goes up and down. That's normal, that's natural. This video is basically going to be talking about calorie counting, and I know that some people are very against it, but I'm going to talk about why first, and then I'm going to talk about how I personally do it. And obviously, like my last video as well, there will be timestamps. There'll be a chapter function which will help you to split the video up, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing, that's absolutely fine. So continuing on from my last video, I never really thought I'd be the type of person who would calorie count. I kind of pretty much ignored the food labels apart from to check if they were halal or not, or if they were super vegetarians. I was not fussed about the amount of sugar, the amount of calories, the amount of fats in a product. I just ate by gut. When it was my choice to choose what I was eating, it really wasn't a big deal to me if something had 100 calories or 400 or 1000 calories. I was like, I don't really care, I'm going to eat it. Obviously it was only when I started doing a bit of research into how to lose weight effectively is when I realised that actually being in calorie deficit is really the key to losing weight, and what being in calorie deficit essentially means, and I'll try and put some graphics up on the screen to help explain this further. But essentially every single day, every single minute of the day, we are burning calories naturally. Even just by breathing, your body is burning calories, and each food item that you eat or drink will contain calories in it, which essentially is like energy. So we're consuming energy from our food and drink, and then we are also burning energy just simply by breathing. Now obviously the more active you are, the more calories you burn, and so being in calorie deficit means that you are eating less calories than you need to get through the day, and so your body has to start burning some of the fat that's already stored up inside you in order for you to function. So it doesn't mean that you're starving yourself. There's a very big difference between not eating enough and being calorie deficit. They are two totally different things. That's something that I struggled to get my head around at first. I was like, oh, so I'm not really going to be able to eat properly, or I'm not going to be able to eat enough. But that's not the case at all. It just means that the amount of calories you're burning has to be more than the amount that you're consuming. And when I understood that, when I read about that, I actually only really learned that properly when I was like 24 last year. So when I got my Fitbit for my birthday last year, I started looking more into that, and I really remember getting into that in sort of September time, and then I kind of just fell off because I wasn't working at the same time. And then a bit later on I started working out, but then I wasn't calorie counting, and essentially the most effective way that I found to lose weight or to maintain a good shape so far has definitely been to calorie count alongside maintaining a high fitness and activity level. But the way I do that is really important for me, and I think that if I was using a regular app, just like MyFitnessPal for example, which actually is a really good app in terms of the amount of food they have in their database, but if I was just using that and I wasn't using my Fitbit alongside this fitness journey, I really think I would have struggled, because the benefit of the Fitbit is because it's on your wrist all the time, it's continuously measuring your activity levels, it's continuously measuring the amount of steps you're taking. You can track your exercise really easily on this, you can track anything that you're doing very easily, and it does it without you telling it to do it, you know, and then it syncs up to the app that comes with it. So today on my app you can see that I've done just over 7,000 steps today, and I've also done pretty well with the step counter thing as well. Over there, that's the second ring at the bottom. It's telling me that I have walked a total of 5.32 kilometers, and I have burnt a total of 1,958 calories, which sounds like a lot, but remember your body is continuously burning calories anyway, so it's, you know, it's a decent amount because I did go out for a walk today with my friend, but you know, it's not as crazy as it sounds or as excessive as it sounds. And then it says that for 19 minutes I've got the little lightning bolt there, and that means that I had active minutes. There was a period of moderate activity done for 10 minutes or more. So for 19 minutes of today, I was really, really active. But throughout the rest of the days, I've had a lot more active minutes because obviously I've been working out. When you're working out, your heart rate is elevated quite a lot. So I will have more active minutes today because I'm planning to work out later on in the evening. But essentially, the reason why this is so good is because it's tracking my every movement, essentially, including my sleep, which I love, and then it's sending all that data like automatically to the app, and then I'm very aware of what I've done and also what I'm eating. So the first little bar there is 3 or 4 days of exercise that I've completed, and then if you have a look at the app in the second one, the green one, that is where my food tracker is. So if I just click on that, now you're going to see a bar with lots of colourful things going on at the top, and this is essentially how I calorie track. So what I'm actually going to do to make this video a bit easier is I'm just going to screen record in case I need to show you guys anything, and I'll add that into this video. Right at the top you've got the calorie in versus calorie out, and they've got 4 colours here. The green means that you're in the zone, the blue means that you're under the zone, and the red means that you're over the zone, and then there's a clear one which just shows how many calories that you have burnt or used up in that day. So at the moment it's showing that today I'm under target. It's saying I've consumed 969 calories, but I have burnt 1,958 calories, so I've got 567 calories left for the day. Now that's not quite accurate because I've not yet logged in my dinner, which I've just eaten, so I'm going to log that in, so I'll do that with you guys. So I'm going to press plus, and I had a roti, well I had 1.5, so I'm going to put, yeah, 1.5's already there, so I'm going to log that. And I also had dal handi. So I'm going to go to chana dal over here. This is where I struggle a little bit because I'm like, I don't know, did I have 100 grams? Like I didn't measure it when I put it in my plate. And if you want to be really, really accurate, that's the best thing to do, is actually measure it. It says there 100 servings is that many calories. That's crazy. Like 1 serving is 176 calories. That seems quite accurate, so I'm going to log that as well. And it says I'm in the zone, and it says I have 232 calories left for the day, so I'm also going to log my orange juice for dinner, and I'm going to log that there. And now it's telling me that I'm actually over target. It's saying that I've only got 64 calories left for the day. But that makes sense to me because I've now had my dinner, I'm not going to have any snacks, and I will be doing exercise. So where you can see the little see-through sort of grey bar on the right hand side, that shows how many calories I've burnt, and obviously when I work out I'm going to burn at least 200 to 300 calories, if not more, so that is going to go up as well. And so by the time I've worked out, by the time we get to 12 o'clock, I should definitely be in the zone. Now if you're wondering why I've got so many pinks, it's because some days I have been slightly overindulging, and also some days my activity levels have been less. I haven't been doing as much walking as I should or could have. 12 midnight kind of shuts off, but if you've got a late sleeping routine, which I definitely had, where you're sleeping at like 2 or 3 o'clock and you might still be eating, then that food will only be counted for the next day. You can see very clearly that even if the line is slightly over, slightly under, it's only very moderately like that. And then you can see right in the middle, there is one line that's completely under. And that day we did loads of walking, and I didn't feel the need to eat lots of food excessively. So it's okay. What I'm saying is it doesn't have to be green. Being in the zone is like the best possible scenario. It's like where you want to be, but it's not the end of the world if you're not in the zone. What I also love about this is that you've got underneath today, you've got macronutrients, so it actually tells you how much of each main food category you've eaten. So, and it's also got a little like pie chart as well, which clearly breaks it up. So it says 66% I've had food today is carbs, 17% is fat, and 17% is protein. Now obviously the more protein you have in your diet the better, kind of like the less carbs you're having the better as well, but I just think that's really helpful. So what I love about this app is that not only does it help you to track and to see how you're getting on throughout the day in terms of your calories, but it also really seeks to educate you. Now if I swipe to the right here, you can actually see a whole chart of my amounts broken down, and as you can see, my diet is definitely mainly consisting of carbs, and then I've got quite a lot of fat. Today I haven't had as much, which is good, but there's some days where I've had a lot of fat. And then protein definitely could be better. I definitely could be trying to have more protein heavy foods, and now because I know that and I've got that knowledge, I can make sure that for the next week ahead I am planning to put more protein in my diet. I find it so helpful, and I feel like the main reason why I think that this app is better than just using like a fitness app or an app that's not connected to a watch or some sort of tool that you're using is because on a day, like in that day in the middle where we've done loads of walking, went to the woods and we got lost, and there's a little vlog on that as well coming up, but on that day really I should have eaten quite a bit more because my body needed it. And if you are under the line, you might think that it's fine if I'm like in the blue zone because I'm not in the zone, and to a certain extent it's not the end of the world if you are, but if you are consistently eating not enough for you to consistently be in the blue zone and not in the green zone, it actually means that your body then is going into starvation mode, which I'll put a little information thing about here, and that's actually counterintuitive to weight loss. So that's why understanding like how much your body actually needs to function properly and healthily is so key in my opinion to weight loss. One of the reasons why I find calorie counting so effective for me is because I feel like it's made me be a lot more conscious about the food that I am consuming. I went from being a very unconscious consumer, very much not really understanding what was going on in my body, not really caring to be honest, as long as it tasted good I didn't really mind, to then understanding, oh right, so if I choose like this bowl of chips over something a lot more healthier, then they might be similar in calories, but I'm actually going to be putting a lot more fat and carbs in my body and not much protein, whereas I can choose another thing that I'd rather have that's similar in calories but has got better nutrients in there for my body. And then on the other side, it's like I was so shocked. I went to have pizza with Sharon, and basically I had 2 mini pizzas, so like the 4-slice ones in a buffet, 2 mini pizzas, half a bowl of salad and a cookie dough, and that was my whole calories for the day. And I still actually ended up being a little bit over because I came back and I was really tired. I went for a walk with my other friend and I was really tired, so I didn't really move after that, and I was still over the zone even though that's pretty much all I ate the whole day. So it does make you aware. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have takeaways, you should cut out all takeaways, you should cut out all fast food, you should cut out all restaurants, but what I'm saying is that on the days where you have that kind of food, you should be aware that that meal is going to be so calorie intensive that for the rest of the day you kind of want to be having very healthy snacks, or especially having snacks that are low in calories, because boy, takeaways and fast food are not a joke when it comes to calories. So if you are having them as a consistent part of your diet, I think it's going to be very hard for you to actually lose weight, whereas if you are balancing them out in moderation with much more healthy food, home cooked food, or just healthier options in general, then it's going to be much easier. So the reason why I love calorie counting is because it allows me to be educated and informed on what exactly is going on with my diet, what I'm putting in my body. Now, the downsides of calorie counting, and there is definitely a few, I think is one is that it can be time consuming. The good thing about this app is when you press plus and you put it in, there are 3 different sections: frequent, recent and custom. So in the frequent one, you will obviously find foods that you tend to log a lot. In the recent one, it's going to be food that you've had recently, and then in the custom one, it's things that you can put together yourself. So when there's a recipe that I know that I'm going to be making quite often, or eating quite often, not even sometimes recipe, like when there's a type of food that's not trackable in the app already but that I really like and I know I'm going to be buying it more than once or twice, I will put it in custom, and it basically just means you write the name of the food down. And this is where I find MyFitnessPal really helpful. I don't even use the app, I use the website, but I'll just type in the food. So for example, burfi from Ambala, and then it comes up with all the nutritional information, and literally you can add everything that you want inside it. So I've got nutritional fats. I've got total fat for burfi is 3.8 grams, total carbs is 12 grams, protein is 2 grams, and in total half a serving size is 89 calories for burfi. So the reason why I love this is because if you are really committed to calorie counting, you can put all your favourite foods in. It will take time, but then once it's put in, it's done. You can just click on it, you choose a serving size as well, and then you press add and it's done. So although at first it is time consuming and it is a commitment, it does get easier as time goes on, because obviously you're building up a bank of food and information for yourself. But I think a downside can be that like it can feel time consuming, especially when you're first starting. And also I was talking to my friend and she was saying that she was calorie counting at one point, but then she found that she became very obsessive with it, and she was saying that at one point like she was just looking at a piece of chocolate cake and saying, no, I can't eat that, it's got too many calories. She knew the amount of calories, and she's just thinking, no, I can't have that, it's too many calories. And sometimes it can be really limiting. So I think you have to know yourself and you have to understand, like, am I doing this, you know, to get to a certain weight goal? And then once you've got to that weight goal, it's about maintaining the weight. And I think that is also sometimes really tricky. Like I definitely, like, I lost quite a bit of weight after Ramadan, well, during Ramadan, and then I felt like really good and really slim, and then I put it back on again, like quite a bit of it, and that's a common cycle. So that's why I feel like being educated about the food that you're putting in your body and being informed and being able to make conscious decisions makes the biggest difference from everything. Because if you're able to do that, then once, even if you decide actually calorie counting, I'm bored of it, like 2 or 3 months in, like I don't need to do this anymore, I've already got a good idea of what will be a healthy breakfast choice, a healthy lunch choice, a healthy dinner choice, then you don't need to even calorie count anymore, because you've done it enough times to have a good amount of knowledge in your head. That's why, like, for now, for the time being, I'm definitely going to stick at it until I feel like I've, again, built up that database in my head where I can say, okay, right, so I want to have a really healthy, nutritious breakfast, and I know that, you know, a bowl of like muesli has this many, like around this many calories, and that's going to be a really good start to my day. If you were to ask me right now, like, how much calories does a bowl of muesli have with skim milk, I would have no idea. So I'm going to keep doing this until I have, like, come to a good place within myself, and it is working for me at the moment. I definitely feel slimmer. The other thing I really wanted to mention with calorie counting is that when you have allowed your stomach to expand so much because you just haven't been consciously eating at all, the idea that you know how much you need to eat, like, that doesn't exist. You don't know how much you need to eat. You feel like you need to eat a lot more because your stomach has expanded. It's like when we fast on Ramadan. At first, the first couple of days is difficult because your stomach is like waiting for food to come constantly, and it's, you know, it's gurgling and it wants food to come. And then slowly over time, like, your stomach starts shrinking, and by the end of Ramadan, you feel like your appetite's really decreased, and that's because you refuse to let your body eat. Now, in the same sense, with calorie counting, I was shocked at how little I needed to eat for me to get in the zone. I was like, normally I would have eaten double that, but it's because we're in these bad habits of just eating too much. So this is why, like, reducing your portion size is so important. And I think when you first start this, like, fitness journey, for me personally, like, you have to know yourself. For me personally, to cut out all foods, I would not be able to do. And I know Aisha Begum did that, and I just think that's amazing. Like, she cut out all rice, but she managed to do it, and she was really strict on herself. Me personally, I couldn't do that. I know that if I tried to cut out, like, all the carbs or all the sugars, I would end up binging, and then I just feel really rubbish about myself. So it's 100% about being aware of portions and serving sizes and weighing your food if you need to, measuring your food, using like milliliter cups, and just being conscious of how much you actually need. And that is shocking, honestly. Like, when you actually are looking at the amount in your plate and like, this is actually should be more than enough to sustain me, that's when you realize, like, I have been like overindulging and being excessive. And at first it is hard. Like, the first 2 or 3 days you will feel more hungry if you know, commit to this and do this strictly, but then slowly over time your body will get used to having a smaller amount. You start to feel like body is responding, you know, you start to feel slimmer, you start to feel better about yourself, alhamdulillah. So it definitely works, but I do think it is 100% worth investing in a Fitbit. I've got a review and I'll leave it over here and down below as well. Honestly, I know that they're not the cheapest things, but we're talking about your health here, and health is absolutely wealth. Fitness is so important to live a good fulfilling life. The fitter you are, the more healthy you are, the less problems you're going to have long term, and ultimately that's what we all want. You know, if we do end up living to a long age, we don't want to have like lots of complications and health problems, and this is the time. It doesn't matter if you're 30, it doesn't matter if you're 40, it doesn't matter if you're 20, it doesn't matter if you're 16. This is like, the time is now to take control of your own health, and I feel like we are so capable of doing this, but we just need to be aware of the tools that we have around us and use them as best as we can. And again, the reason why I'd recommend this is because it just literally it adjusts the amount of calories you need to be in deficit based on your activity. So for example, you had a very, very lazy day and you're just relaxing in bed, you're hardly moving at all, so really your body doesn't need as many calories as usual. So it will tell you that, it will explain that really clearly and visually, and you will see that. So yeah, I hope that this has made sense. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is, yeah, just me a little introduction about why I calorie count, why I think it's effective, how I do it as well. And if you've ever calorie counted, let me know down below. I'd love to hear your experiences. I know a lot of people have, and then they've stopped, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. But I think from an educational perspective and you know, an informative viewpoint, I just think you can't go wrong with knowing what's going on in your body, because that's the stuff that's fueling you. And you know that phrase, you are what you eat, that's where you really see when you start calorie counting. Like, yeah, if I'm going to be eating like 2 really huge calorific meals a day, and then I'm actually going to act surprised that I've gained weight, like, I'm kidding myself completely. But it's not until you like step forward, and it's quite nerve-wracking if anything, because you have to kind of confront your eating habits, but you will thank yourself for it 100%. And I really haven't talked about fitness in this video because that will be for another video, but I will say that it's so much easier to stick to being in calorie deficit when you are working out alongside that, because you're going to be feeling the burns and the aches from working out, and you're just going to want to fuel your body up right, rather than, you know, doing all that hard work of working out and then eating a huge amount of sweets, chocolates and fatty foods and all the rest of it. But I would never cut anything out completely. I do treat myself every single day, but it's all about portion control. So yeah, anyway, I will love you and leave you guys, and I'll speak to you very soon. Take care, guys. Bye.